Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to HansaMatrix Investor Conference webinar about financial results and company's activities in first 6 months of 2016. Today we are hosted by HansaMatrix CEO Ilmārs Osmanis. Before I give the floor to Mr. Osmanis, a short reminder about the agenda of the webinar. Firstly, we will have company's presentation, after which we will proceed with the questions and answers session. We have already received some questions in advance. If you would also like to use the unique chance and ask a question directly to the CEO of HansaMatrix, please use the question box on the right side of your screen. All questions will be addressed after the presentation. Mr. Osmanis, I invite you to start the presentation.
Hello everybody who has attended our presentation. Please feel free also to submit questions, and now we start the presentation. So HansaMatrix, Innovator Manufacturing Solutions High-Tech Group. We are presenting today second quarter and 6 months results through this webinar. Firstly, we will start with second quarter results of 2016. You can see now the slide, which kind of gives you the chart of the quarters. We are presenting in a quarterly sales chart. You can see last 6 quarters, starting with 2015 Q1, and last bar on the right hand side is just recently finished second quarter of this year. 2016 quarter 2 been very good for company. It's kind of, in terms of sales, that's the best quarter so far in company history. So sales been growing, and actually on a trend upwards. You kind of are having from time to time the best quarters. Sales worth of it was more than 4 million euros. And that was an increase by 25% in comparison to second quarter of 2015, or increase by 22% in comparison to first quarter of 2016. Next slide. We are analyzing our sales by region. So second quarter sales by our regions are now on a screen. What we can see, which is very characteristic for this quarter, is that there was substantial sales increase in Nordic countries. And if you compare this like brown chart, then we can see that Nordic sales have increased by 28% in comparison to second quarter of 2015. And actually it's also is ever largest in company history. Baltic states sales also been growing since beginning of year. And if you compare to the last year second quarter, that it's up by 21%. Rest of EU sales also have grown substantially, and it is 102% increased in comparison to 2015 second quarter. Sales split by product segments. Just will remind you that we are analyzing our sales by product group, by data networks product groups, Internet of Things product groups, industrial product groups, and others. Substantial, again here we can see some of the columns going upwards, and what you can see is substantial increase in industrial product segment. If you're comparing to a year ago, second quarter 2015, and again this is kind of due to sales increase in Nordic countries, because these industrial customers are mostly concentrating in this area. Increase of industrial segment share, actually the growth of the industrial segment also helped to increase the share to 39% in our total sales. Data network product sales is about the same level as a year ago, second quarter, and it increased by 35% from first quarter of 2016, which represents actually the fact that this segment was not very well selling in first quarter this year. Then profitability results. Second quarter profitability results in EBITDA figures. The chart actually shows both EBITDA columns and quarterly profits and net profits by the line. EBITDA results were achieved 0.576 million euros, which is decreased by 3% in comparison with a quarter a year ago. Net profits were at level of 181 million euros, which is decreased by 43% in comparison to year 2015 quarter 2. Both EBITDA and net profits being increased substantially from first quarter of this year, which actually is due to the fact that first quarter was not very strong this year. So this finishes quarterly result analysis, and we would like to make a small break here and give you a chance to answer one of our poll questions. Eva, please, we'll do it. So, thank you for your answers. I think that will be very valuable for us, your feedback. We are proceeding to the next part of presentation, presenting 6-month results of year 2016 and 12 months rolling results. Sales results. 6-month sales. You see it now in presentation chart, which represents 3 half years, like starting first figure, which is on the screen, is first half of 2015, then you have second half of 2015 and first half of 2016. And first half of 2016 representing level of 7.4 million euros. Again, in terms of sales, this is the best half year in company history so far. But again, we are in a growth mood, so this will be happening from time to time. If you compare, analyze figures going analyze to similar periods in last year, then we are having 20% increase in sales. And if you compare to first half of 2015 and increase by 3% in comparison to 2015 second half of year. Typically in our business we are having first half of year is a little bit weaker and second half is a bit stronger. Year 2015 this little bit was quite substantial. So results of this year we will see at the end of year. Looking into regional results, we can again review like cross-section of sales results by region in 6-month period. We can again we see on a screen, we see Baltic countries, Nordic countries and rest of EU as our market segments, regional segments. And here we can see that we can see that increase, we can see distinct increase in Nordic country sales in first half of year 2016. And increase of that sales is 21% in comparison to year 2015 first half, or 11% if you're comparing the level to second half of 2015. In increase, Baltic sales been increasing too. If we're comparing to similar period in last year, then increase is 16%, or if you're comparing to second half year of 2015, then increase is 1%. Increase in rest of EU sales is also substantial, 95%, according to, if you compare to 2015 first half. And it's decreased by 40% if we're comparing to 2015 second quarter. And this is this is probably explanation to maybe such way go like up down pattern, that it's some of the businesses that are in rest of you is having dependent of seasonality of investments in network business. Looking 6-month sales split by product segments. We are seeing chart now. We are seeing here in chart, we are seeing again 4 our market segments: data network products, Internet of Things products, industrial products, and other products. If you're comparing like generally first half year of 2016 comparing to 2015 first half year, then we can see the industrial figures going up. We can see quite flat development for data networks. So industrial products grown by 56% in comparison to first half of 2015, or by 17% in comparing to second half of 2015. And industrial product share in half year sales is similar to quarter, it's 39%. And looking into data network products, we can see that sales have decreased by 5% if you compare first half of year last year and this year, and have increased by 1% from second half of 2015. And share have decreased to 44%. Generally, comparing these both segments, the market is more dynamic much more dynamic in data network systems and more conservative in stable industrial product sales. So I think the fact that industrial segment is growing represents the fact that we are having more diversified and more distributed our number of products sales. Regarding Internet of Things products, you can see quite a jumpy picture here. Internet of Things product sales was decreased from 2015 first half, and by 51% and 60% if we compare to second half of year. However, this is very much project-oriented segment that we are having from time to time large projects that increase the figure for some period, and when they are accomplished, then it's they're going to some lower level. So last year we have completed a few larger projects they kind of by end of year were completed. So beginning of this year was not so much business in this sector. But you can see generally overall amount is growing, so other segments have compensated as well. 6-month profitability results. Looking into 3 half-year periods, like 2015 first half, 2015 second half, and first half of 2016, we can see that EBITDA margins or levels. First half year we achieved 0.932 million euros. And net profit was 0.139 million euros. EBITDA, if you compare half years, EBITDA decreased by 80% to compare to 2015 first half of year, and to 35% if you're comparing to second half of 2015. Again, if you look full detail the report, that you can see that mostly to half year results, weaker performance reason was contribution of first quarter, not so good sales results. Lower than expected, yeah, and on top of that, a second reason of having figures like this was that company decided to keep R&D expense levels on the previous expense levels like last year figures, despite the fact that some of the grant programs were completed in November. Movements were not open, so we decided to keep the capacity running and to increase also our R&D resource. So net changes, which is decreased by 70%, actually mostly most decrease actually came from the fact that we did large investments in 2015 that have to give our growth, continue growth, and this year comes with higher equipment depreciation levels. Yeah. So similarly, looking now we're going to a 12-month rolling sales and results chart. This is kind of represents figures by quarterly, but we are showing here a 12-month rolling figure if the 12-month period ends at certain quarter. If you're looking into figures that 12 months rolling sales and results end of Q2 2016, then sales for such period would be 14.6 million euros. If you compare that to already known figures from 2015 end of year results, which was 13.4, then we can see here increase in turnover. Also rolling 12-month EBITDA results are 2.369 million euros, which is, as you can see, it's slightly low, very little bit, but slightly lower than it was end of year. EBITDA margin decreased to 16%. That is connected to faster increase of sales at lower margin products, and we can expect it sales of high margin products in 2016 Q1. So this completes my presentation part and explanation part regarding results. We are coming to the third part of presentation, and at this point I would like also to make small interruption, small pause, and ask Eva to give second question, please. So we are very welcome your input. We are doing, this is our second webinar, and this is so your input is very valuable to kind of evaluate the kind of our performance here. Equally important was also first question answers, which gives feedback on our level of detail and our presented reports. So we welcome your comments. There will be chance at the end of the webinar to also provide some written suggestions, or that we also would welcome to provide anything that gives us value. So thank you for these answers. We are proceeding to third part of presentation, which will include update on recent events. So there are several. Of course, this period kind of coincided also. This was summer and vacation period for everyone, so no anything very extraordinary happened. But again, just to going a little bit backwards for the 6-month period, probably the interesting events or very important events would be that company in January 2016, actually it was 26th of January, has acquired land plot of 1.5 hectares, which is located next to existing company plant in Ogre. And during this period, company have started to develop building project of warehouse and production space extension to existing plant that will to be completed by 2018. So we actually having needs to have larger production space and warehouse space in Ogre, and this should be our answer to these needs. Besides that, next important also connected to first half year results event is that in this year June, company with cooperation with Lightspace Technologies has started realization of research and development project that is supervised by Latvian finance agency. It's a central finance and agreement contract agency, Latvian called CFLA. And project R&D project, real-time 3D volumetric imaging technology development, that is financed co-financed by European Regional Development Funds. Our budget for the project is a little bit over 600,000 euros. And besides these events, certainly we're having several other projects that are not that maybe that important to mention here. And third, in our opinion, important event that needs to be mentioned is that company HansaMatrix, in which HansaMatrix owns 24% shares, and for which HansaMatrix is providing investment loan. About this investment, there is references in our listing documents. So if you want to see details, they are available there. Company has provided some initial investment loan, and on 26th of July 2016, company HansaMatrix has acquired 4.5 hectare building site in Riga International Airport and have started also construction project development. On that site, HansaMatrix is actually planning to build this science park infrastructure, and HansaMatrix is planning to open fast-track manufacturing facility that will be dedicated to initial product samples, small prototype batches, and initial pilot series, and R&D site and new product accelerator. These are our most important 3 events. And we are again reminding you about guidance and about any forecasting, what we are expecting, where the company is expecting to go and drive business. Then still existing guidance provided before company listing is still valid. And here I am reminding this, that we are planning to achieve consolidated revenue for 2018 20 million euros, and subject to ongoing revenue growth, absolute EBITDA levels are expected to increase over time. However, EBITDA margins may gradually decrease over time due to the incorporation of greater percentage of high value components that typically carry lower margins. However, company expects this to be higher than basic EMS peers due to incorporation and focusing of knowledge part of business development, which includes ODM, R&D work, and ODM, which is original design manufactured product sales, and selection of customers and products. So that completes our presentation, third part, and we are coming now to a Q&A session.
Mr. Osmanis, thank you for the presentation. You're right. We are now starting the Q&A session. We have already received some questions in advance, and if any of you participants would like to ask a question to Mr. Osmanis as well, please feel free to do that in the questions section. So let's start with the first one. Why market maker LHV maintains such a high share price? Turnover is close to 0.
Yeah, I think that's more questions to LHV. I'm not very big specialist in market making and liquidity provision. However, our probably contract says that our market maker has to provide offers in both sides, purchase and sell side, within certain corridor of values from last or market fixed transaction. So in fact, by providing this, they actually do not impact the price. Price actually is fixing the participants of the trade, basically latest. The fact that turnover is not high probably means that there are right now maybe people that willing to buy, or maybe not so many people willing to sell. So so that's probably answer at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question, or rather comment. My compliments about the detailed and explicit financial report. According to it, Q2 sales show a very positive trend. What were the main reasons for sales increase in Q2? As I understood, you partly covered this during the presentation. So would you like to add something?
Yeah, that's quite of valid. I think it's kind of been, if you looked our initial listing presentations, then this trend of growing sales been with us last like 3-4 years. And average, we've been reporting average sales growth, like if you average per year, it's about 24% a year. So the question, how do we get this, and why is happening? We are our sales activities are more direct marketing, and if you're looking from the textbook, that the method we are selling, it's sales to professional circles. So sales by introduction, sales by references, and also selecting potential customers and directly making contact with them and kind of offering services. This is actually how do. We have, since this year, January, we have dedicated sales director who spends full time just doing that activity. I would say still first half year results is probably not his maybe bigger is coming from a time from previous periods, but of course we will see the trend continuing. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question. Could you please share some insights how HansaMatrix is making the sales? Are those face-to-face meetings, participations in exhibitions, or mostly regular marketing such as publications in different industry-specific materials and channels?
Yes, I already probably started to answer this part of question as well. If you're going maybe a little bit commenting the first question, the previous question, main reasons for sales increase. Of course, this is the reason that we're having several projects in preparation, so industrialization projects. But generally speaking, actually, our facilities are selling itself. Basically, if you're having customer which typically wants to see visiting the place where his product will be produced, and if you see our well invested and well maintained and well run facilities, they is very convinced that this is a place he would like to have business. So basically we are growing that because we are a good company in all respects, yeah? And again making sales is professional circles. We don't see that exhibitions, there is some element of exhibitions, some element of regular marketing. However, the publications in industry-specific materials probably is not the right thing. We believe more in direct marketing, in direct contacts and professional circles and references to existing customers. Your marketing is it's your warehouse where you're shipping out high-quality product. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Please tell more about your plans in relation to purchase of additional land plot in Ogre. What are company's expansion plans in relation to it? You also managed to cover this a bit during the presentation. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I can a little bit add here that yes, that's important part. We seen recently that we have growing very fast. We have to look very much forward that we are having also increase of our production floor space, because every new project requires some space for specific equipments and also space to handle the production. So yes, plans are to develop first of all make a project right and develop good facilities and increase production space. Thank you.
Are you affected by Brexit? If yes, in what way?
Yeah, that's a very popular theme these days. I would say not directly. However, what we saw was that one of our customers, which is a British company, started to look to move his production site actually to Germany. And well, in principle, we probably could get a little bit more business based on Brexit. Again, very much depends what will be the trade terms between European Union and Great Britain after Brexit. So, well, UK actually, and I would say we would rather applaud if the transatlantic treaty would be signed. Brexit is not so critical, I think. Yeah, thank you.
What do you think? Is your stock fairly valued at Baltic Stock Exchange? When there will be more sellers except LHV?
I think you have to. We kind of persuaded initially investors in our to keep this as a long position, because we are planning to develop in our longer term and very substantial developments. I suspect could be more sellers, but again it's very much related to each investor wish. We would certainly look also to increase our free float from a time, so we are welcoming also new interested investors that are interested. I think for anyone who would like to be there, I think we have assignment with LHV, or you can of course buy with a trade platform, or you can go to our trader if you are interested in more larger shareholding. Thank you.
Thank you. Please share some updates about Zinātnes Parks project. How far are you with it? What are the future plans?
Zinātnes Parks project. At the moment we are doing all the project work. It's quite complicated infrastructure. And Zinātnes Parks is having right now discussions with real estate investors and also with financing institutions to set up financing part of the project. And at the same time, we are also having discussions. Also submitted some applications for getting some state support for getting this project up. So right now it's kind of very hot working time for the project. Any kind of results will be probably announced when we come to that. So plan is to have this science park up and ready during 2018, second half of 2018. Thank you.
All right, looking forward to hearing the news then. How big was the EBITDA at the end of 2015? Perhaps you can tell us more.
Yeah, of course you can see that in reported figures. I think it was around 2.52 if I'm correct, and slightly above 2.5 million euros.
Mm-hmm. All right, and at this point, the last question that we have received. You have been listed for a little bit more than 2 months. How it has affected your operations?
Certainly, we were quite proudly telling all our suppliers and our customers that we are now a listed company. So there was some exchange of kind of ideas and of course news is going on. But because this was kind of summer holiday time, I don't think that made big impact. So I think still there's so busy. Most of time it's business as usual. But however, we think that having been listed, that would help us to develop our business much more strongly, and also having there are some other benefits indirect that we are already seeing. Thank you.
All right, it seems we have managed to answer all the questions. Thank you for that. Participants, thank you for being active and asking the questions. A reminder that the recording of the webinar will be soon available in Nasdaq Baltic YouTube channel and also in company's announcements. So following the news. Once again, thank you for joining and see you in the next webinar.
Thank you for really joining and kind of supporting us with your presence and your attitude. And I would welcome if you would send us feedback from how do you see what you would need more in written reporting forms and also the webinar forms. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
The questions will appear right after end of webinar. So please, we'll be very grateful if you share your feedback.